Hello, everyone. IMS welcomes you all to this webinar series called Future You, Set Your Career Compass Right with Experts Insight. And I'm Kalyani, your host for today's webinar. So for those people who have missed our last two episodes, basically, let me give you a primer on what this series is all about. So IMS has envisioned this series to give the MBA aspirants the clarity and the guidance they seek. So we are continuing on this series with careers in marketing. Today, we will be talking about B2B marketing and how to be future ready in this field. What is a marketing strategist's role and what are the kind of job opportunities and more. But well, as usual, we usually start with a little bit of a trivia. So let me give you like this trivia, very interesting story about what a good marketing strategy can do for a brand. So uh, if I mean, of course, all of you know about Intel, but a lot of people does not know that one of the biggest challenges that Intel faced during their branding was a technical product. How the client, like basically, branding a technical product that clients cannot see. So the chips are inside the CPU, which makes traditional marketing very difficult, to say the least. So to overcome this obstacle, Intel used a variety of out-of-the-box techniques, such as mass marketing, to make people aware of the brand. So the company unveiled its characteristic five-note jingle. I'm sure all of you must have heard it so many times that it's part of our integral part of our lives. So so basically, that five-note jingle that now can be heard in more than 130 countries worldwide. And this tune, along with an aggressive visual marketing campaign, included this well-known Intel Inside logo. So this kind of became a household name. So that's the kind of impact that marketing, the right kind of marketing strategies can have on a product and can become integral part of all of our lives, whether we are seeing the product like that or not. So with that little trivia, let me introduce our speaker today. So our speaker today is Mr. Ramesh Rao. He completed his MBA from IIM Indore and is a marketing consultant. He has 19 plus years of professional experience with leading brands like Wipro, HCL, WNS, etc. And so he will be sharing his experience and learning in this field. He'll tell you all about what it takes to be a marketing strategist. He'll also tell you a lot about B2B marketing, the past, present, and the future, and how to be future ready for this particular field. Like, if you want to if you want to make a career in B2B marketing in any of these fields, how do you get from here to there? And thank you for joining us today, Mr. Ramesh Rao. Can you just take us through your career trajectory?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thanks to IMS, thanks to Kalyani for reaching out and giving me the opportunity to present my views, thoughts, and my small journey with all of you. And last but not the least, thanks to all of you for taking time on a busy Saturday. Weekends are more busier than the weekdays for all of us as such. And spending some time with me. I will make sure that each participant who is there, whether he is uh, just getting started on their journey of MBA preparation, or deep into the journey, you have a first timer, second timer, or people who have experience and people who don't have experience, everyone gets something as a takeaway from this particular webinar. Uh, I'm not going to complicate things. I will keep it very simple so that at the end of the day, each one of you will know is marketing a specialization that you need to take, and will it add value to you and your career in future. So with that, I will get started. Myself and Kalyani, we had some thoughts and basis which we have structured this, and we will prefer to have it as a free flow as such. And whenever you have any questions or something, I am sure you are familiar now with Zoom. Definitely in the last 2 months, all of us have been forced to use Zoom. So please type in your queries, comments in the chat box, and we'll be taking those which are pertinent to everyone as such, and try to do justice to the questions that are there. So let me begin with my small journey of 19 years that I have had in the industry, and how marketing happened to me as such. And then we will move on with the other things that are there. So I started as an engineer, as an electronics engineer in 1998. Uh, and I worked for 3 years as a software engineer with a company called Sintel in Bombay. Most of you would be aware who are in Bombay. And then after 2 years here, I went to Bangalore, and I was working with Wipro. So the reason for doing MBA and then marketing is twofold. One, I was dead bored sitting in front of a computer just typing, right? So I am a people's person who prefers to talk to people, meet people, understand their problems, and see if I can help them to solve. In the context of business, it would be understanding the problems of your customers and stakeholders and trying to solve them. So that's what I like. So sitting and doing a desktop was not my cup of tea. I realized that. So that's why MBA came into my life. And so at that point in time, you don't know much about in MBA what to specialize in, right? So the first year was taking common subjects, electives, etc., and then you get a feel of what you're good at, what you tend towards, and that's when I felt that uh, I should be doing marketing, which will give me an opportunity to reach out to customers, where there is a marriage between creativity as well as hardcore data, and that's something that I loved. And apparently, my grades were a little lesser in finance than the marketing subject. So I was just thinking that if I'm not able to uh, get the grades that I want, if someone gives me 1,000 crores to manage, that person is doomed and I am doomed. So I better do what I'm good at. So that's how marketing happened. And Touchwood, as of now, thanks to that decision, no one has come to street with the strategies and tactics that I have applied as such. So, so after MBA, I moved into HCL Technologies, which is a tech company, and my 19-year journey has been predominantly into B2B marketing and in the tech industry, or the ITES industry, if I have to say, across different shapes and size of companies, be it a $10 million company, that's the smallest company from a revenue standpoint that I work with, till multi-billion dollar companies, which would be Wipros and HCLs of the world. So uh, that's where I will like to end what I have done in the past. That's not important. What's important is uh, why marketing, what is B2B marketing, and for you, each one of you, is it a field that you need to choose? So first and foremost, uh, marketing as a specialization and marketing as a function is a growth driver in any organization. Whichever industry you take, the industry cannot function with marketing. You may have a great product, right? But and you may have great salespeople. So there is a difference between sales and marketing. I will just keep it very high level. So both sales and marketing need to go hand in hand for the business to prosper. Marketing is a function which basically drives growth, which finds what are the needs of the customers, where these customers are, engages with them to make them realize that you have a problem and we have a solution in a convincing manner, such that they engage with you and try to know more about your brand. And when it reaches a level where they want to actually work with you, that's when sales comes as a partner and takes over, and finally they converted it into a customer. So they need to go hand in hand. So you can't live without marketing. And for a question that you may ask now or later, that is there a scope? A very basic question. The scope is immense. It is sector agnostic. In each sector, marketing is prevalent and marketing leaders are thriving and making a difference. Coming to B2B marketing, what is B2B and what is B2C? Right? Very simple thing. B2B means business to business, and B2C means business to consumer. So primarily, when a business has products and services which it is providing it to other businesses, it becomes a B2B context. When it is business to consumer, when a business is producing products and services and directly provides it to consumer, right, it becomes B2C. Now, the principles of marketing are largely the same, but the mechanics of doing marketing at a tactical level are very much different. Okay, then you need not worry about that. Okay, 1 second. I think my earphone is obstructing. I just noticed
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
Hold on. Now is it better?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Uh, so, so the thing is that from a B2B context, I will share with you typically in a B2B scenario uh, how the structures and the subgroups would be, right? So you will have a group which manages content marketing. Content marketing is basically you prepare different types of content, be it case studies, white papers, point of views, etc., and share it with your customers through different distribution channels of information as such, right? Then there is a graphics team which brings in the creative element into it. Uh, then you have a direct marketing team which reaches out to the customers in the buying phase and brings the human element as such. Then you have digital marketing team which makes sure that the latest tools and techniques of digital marketing are applied to reach out to the customers and present the value proposition that you have so that they start having faith in your brand and start conversing with you, getting to know your brand, and when they're convinced, they partner with you as a customer, right? So these are various subgroups. There is another group, very important group, which is the PR, public relations, right? So public relations is a group which basically handles uh, how to, what do you say, reach out to the concerned people and create a mass appeal for the brand, right? Also, in cases of any issues that may turn up or some mishap that happens. For example, a very simple example in an e-commerce situation, suddenly the e-commerce site goes down, right? Uh, Different people will have different interpretations. Oh, Flipkart is going down, for example. It is not going down, but Flipkart is going down. It is crashing. What will happen? I've already paid this thing, etc. So to manage those expectations of stakeholders, public relationship is extremely important. That's the thing that handles that part. Then you have a strategic marketing wing. Okay, they call corporate marketing, they call strategic marketing. The name is not that important, right? So that's where the strategic marketing, which is the heart of marketing, comes into place, which prepares a plan and ensures that it's a well-oiled engine. So that's the structure of it. And now I'll just go back to my career
Yes,
trajectory.
yeah, yeah, yeah. As in, if you can just also tell us the journey, as in a little more chronologically as well, as in,
Sure,
what after what. Yeah, yeah.
sure.
So that, basically,
So,
attendees should know how to go about it, if they have to reach if they would like to become a marketing consultant or a marketing
right,
strategist, what is the
right,
step? Yeah.
will do. So the first thing is for you to actually get an entry point into marketing, uh, there is a section which feels that you don't have to do an MBA, right? And there is a school of thought which feels that yes, you need to do an MBA. My view is that yes, you need to do an MBA because it gives you a theoretical framework and a proper direction in which you can proceed than doing experiments where many of the experiments could fail, and you will lose precious years of your prime life during the time when you need to really get to the peak. So my recommendation is an MBA from an elite school definitely will do wonders to your career and to the knowledge that you will gain from practitioners and also from professors who are there in terms of what really works in the industry and what doesn't. And that was one of the reasons also to choose IIM as a school where I would like to go and learn. So that's one recommendation I would give. Now, take as many electives as you can, right? Uh, Now that I've given you a structure as such, I mean, you will find many of electives aligned with these structures when you enter the B school, right? So do take as many electives as you can so that your foundation is extremely strong, and apply to the best companies and start your journey. Now, let me come to that part, my journey a little bit as such, so that you have a perspective of how things may pan out for you. I mean, my journey may not be the ideal one, and there are people who are doing better than me. There are people who are doing not so great as well, primarily because of certain career decisions that they have taken, or they've chosen a school which they should not have chosen. So, as far as choosing the school and which MBA program, IMS is there for you, Kalyani is there for you, so you reach out to her. Okay, so I will not touch that subject. Coming to my career trajectory. So, I started my career as a marketeer with HCL Technologies. So I spent some 2.5 years with them, with their Japanese business unit, and my assignment at that time was to create a go-to-market strategy for taking a software product to the US nation in a B2B context. So, so primarily we had to figure out, okay, who are the competitors of ours? So there comes the competitive analysis. Uh, who are the customers who will buy this product? So we already had a customer base, so we mapped and created an ideal customer profile. What is the revenue? What kind of people actually have bought this product, and mapped it to the US region to trace those companies and people with whom we can converse and present our value proposition. Then came the content marketing part, where we created suitable content to start a conversation and started sharing this with them through the sales channel and through the digital channel and through the direct marketing channel, where we will email, where email marketing comes into play, and then you would overlay it with calling so that it doesn't get into a spam folder, because there are various software which will basically uh, ensure that your email doesn't reach the right person. So all these tactical things were done, and after 2.5 years, where you started as a management trainee, if you do good, then you get year-on-year promotions if you are one of the best performers, and then uh, life goes on. So in my case, in the 2.5 years, I was able to get 2 year-on-year promotions, but I left HCL primarily on personal reasons, to be with my father who was not keeping well, right? Now comes another part where I joined a very small company. The reason for joining this small company, which is something which I, in hindsight, feel was a great thing to do as such. So many of you might have a question: should I join a big brand or should I join a small brand? First of all, I would like to tell all of you is focus on learning. The brands which you want will come to you, even if they do not come during the placements. The ideal dream company for you, eventually it will come if your learning is perfect. So focus on the learning part of it, right? So my reason for joining that small company, was primarily twofold. One, it was in Bombay. Two, I had a very close friend of mine. And three, I wanted to learn how to run a business. Why do you do MBA, right? And you have a vision that you want one day to run a business, either in the ambit of a big brand or on your own, right? And you will know that only when you get your hands dirty. You actually do things than sitting in an ivory tower and just devising strategies but not knowing what's happening on the ground. So those 2 years in a company called Rave Technologies gave me a very strong founding, which has helped me throughout my life of how to run a business where I was doing, while my designation was marketing, pre-sales and marketing manager, but I was doing a number of things. I was doing a little bit of coding. I was doing a little bit of pre-sales, bid management, and actually laying branding guidelines. So brand management, everything came into play. So that company then got acquired by another company, and I didn't want to get into an operational role because marketing was close to my heart. So that's why I moved to Hexaware. So Hexaware and WNS has been very much similar in the sense that uh, there was structure in place and where I could apply all the learnings that I've had so far. So in Hexaware, my evolution of being a marketing leader started, where I started with being a marketing lead for a particular vertical, and slowly but surely it evolved, and finally I was leading the whole corporate marketing there. And WNS happened by accident. I knew somebody pretty senior out there who just happened to give me a perspective that all the while you have been in the IT industry, and IT and ITS go hand in hand to complete the spectrum of your learning, right? Since you know the IT part, why don't you join a pure play BPM company or ITS company of repute, so that the end-to-end services that big Accentures and Capgeminis of the world offer, where they offer consulting, IT, and BPM services, you would have a complete knowledge of the business cycle. So that's what attracted to me, and I joined WNS, and I was with them for the last 3.5 years, where fortunately for the 2 cents that I added, I was one of the star performers out there. And lastly, now I've entered a new phase of my life where I am a marketing consultant. What does that mean? All the knowledge that I've gained in the past, right? I'm trying to bring it back to the industry, not to one particular company, but to multiple companies who are in need of such skills but can't afford a full-time marketing leader or a CMO. And I want to make sure that I bring in a big impact in the industry by meeting and providing my knowledge to them and helping these companies on the path of growth. So that's how uh, my journey has been. I will cover now a typical day.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, like a
Yeah,
typical
go
day
ahead,
in the
Kalyan.
life of a B2B marketer. But you can also speak a little bit about also like the B2B marketing pillar. I think you've covered quite a bit about B2B marketing as in like the pillars and all. But then again, yeah, you can definitely talk about a little bit about the typical day in the life of a B2B marketer. And then there are a few questions which are all related to this particular area. So we'll just take those.
Done.
Yeah.
So I'll keep this very brief, and then we can take the question as well.
Yeah.
So typical day in a B2B marketing person's life. So in the morning, once you reach office, you check all your mails and see what are the most important mails that you need to address. You then prioritize what's important and whom you need to kind of respond to and what is on fire. So every day is a new day, every day there is a new challenge. That's pretty exciting. So every day there is a new learning in that sense. After you have cleared your mailbox, communicated, delegated the task to the concerned team members as such, and got a view of how the day would be and what you need to address, and you have a daily connect with your team, so that on the ground what's happening, you have a complete visibility of what's happening, because emails gives you a picture but the reality might be different. So you speak and communicate on a daily basis with the team and the external world as well. What is their need? What are the tasks that they're handling? Are there any challenges? And give them the direction and solve it for them. And then get back to the seat and get on with your task.
Right.
Next is, on a daily basis, while you are managing the team below, you also need to make sure your boss or supervisor is also updated about the progress or challenges, and if there are challenges, what is the workaround. So this is as far as the short-term goals and short-term tasks are concerned, keeping in mind the long-term goals that are there. And the long-term goals are twofold. One, increase brand awareness, and two, increase demand. That is, the services and products that you're selling, finally you are accountable for increased services and products getting sold, that is increased number of customers. You need to make sure you are attributing and you are able to defend that because you indulge in certain campaigns, these logos or these customers have come, otherwise it would not have come, else you would not really be able to show the value of the marketing. And that's something that you need to keep an eye. If you don't do, then your career is doomed. So you need to know what your KRAs, that is key result areas, are, what your goals are, and on a daily basis, make sure you're moving in that direction. And on a quarterly basis, also review the same. So that's a typical day in a marketing consultant's life at a very, very high level. And here I will take a pause to see if there are any questions, as Kalyani
Yeah.
was saying,
Yeah.
so that we can address that as well. So let me uh, take up a few questions as such. So the first question is, which he was saying, is there a prerequisite to major in marketing, right? Uh, there is no prerequisite to major in marketing per se, as such. Uh, but having said that, is marketing, the more important question is marketing for you? Well, that is something that you will know when you get familiarized with the subject, as well as you read a little bit more on the subject, and it becomes interesting for you. And third, you meet the right set of people in a B school environment. That's when you will be able to and give it time, give it a year or so where you have common electives, and give it some time, and then you will know whether you have an affinity for marketing or not. And in the second year, you choose the electives and major in marketing. So you don't have to jump as such. Having said that, currently, since you are planning for MBA, your focus should be cracking the exam, right? Whether it is GMAT or CAT or XLR, XAT, or whatever the exam should be. So keep your focus on cracking the exam and getting into an elite B school. And as far as marketing is concerned, keep reading. There are some URLs that I'm going to share with Kalyani, who later on will share it with each one of you. Okay, you can go through those so that you get a view of what the subject is like and what are the various contours around it, right? So that's one. Uh, Someone is asking that, okay, uh, what is the scope of marketing? I think I had mentioned about that, but I will again repeat it. Marketing is like the spine of any company, right? B2B or B2C, I'm just keeping it general. And every company would need marketing, small, big, or a giant Fortune 500 company. So don't worry about career prospects later for each one of you. There are many people who are there who have majored in marketing, grown in the marketing field, are today the CEOs of the world, right? Of course, with marketing, as time progresses, have a small sales stint as well, so that you have well-grounded view of how to run a business as such. So that would help you in your career progression. Keep typing your questions. I will take one more question before I get back to the topics that we wanted to discuss. And there is a lot of information that I feel is of value to you that I would share with you. Do you think it's a good idea to leave your job to start an MBA in the economy? Good question. I will take that one. Okay. Many of you at this moment are feeling why MBA and whether I will get a job or not if I do an MBA. My 2 years, should I leave a job and then do an MBA? My simple thing is, each one of you has close to around 30 years of your career ahead, at least, right? Okay. Yes, today there are difficult times that are going on, and what you're currently seeing, you may be feeling as if MBA has lost the sheen. Will I get a job after 2 years when I pass out? What if the economy is down as such? My recommendation to you all is, have faith in yourself, number one. Second bit is, since you are actually on the Zoom, it clearly means that you feel that MBA could add value, and affirmatively I would say yes, it will add tremendous value, provided you are going and doing an MBA from one of the elite B schools in India or globally, depending on which stage of life you are, whether you are a fresher or whether you are 5 years of experience, where doors open and you may want to consider a GMAT as well. So my view is, make sure your preparation is so strong that you are end of the day getting into a elite B school. Once you do that, irrespective of the economy, etc., economy will bounce back as it has in the past as well, and you will shift jobs if your first break wasn't the break that you wanted, and over a 10-year period, 5-year period, everything will get evened out and you will be on a fast pace and all your dreams will come true. So that's my answer. So have faith and make sure you don't deviate from the path. Now, I would go back to a few things that I want to cover, and we will come back to the questions later. So please park your questions at the moment with you. And when I say please shoot your questions, at that point in time, you can type it on the chat box, right? Okay. What are the typical challenges that one might face in a marketing role? Okay, in how to overcome that. In a marketing role, primarily one challenge that you may face is, how do you attribute the value that you bring to the table, right? So in a real life scenario, I'm saying, in a B2B context. So typically, there are various strategies, tactics that you deploy, right? If you're not taking the help of data and analyzing the data and reporting the findings to your supervisors as well as to your top management that you and your team are doing a great job, you started the job so and so time, and in 3 months, in 6 months, this is the progress that you have been able to bring in terms of increased brand awareness, where people are noticing your brand, increased conversations where many more prospects are inquiring, tell me more about how you can solve my problem, and increased number of deals, that is more people buying your services. If you are not able to track, monitor, and attribute means map it to your marketing activities, and last but not the least, report it on a frequent basis to your supervisor and management, no one will know the hard work that you and your team are putting. So the hard work part is important as well as the reporting part is also important. So that's the biggest challenge of synthesizing the data, analyzing the data, and reporting. Apart from that, managing the team dynamics, etc., which I guess each one of you will be able to handle it. That's not a problem. The soft skills part is also extremely important, because at the end of the day, you are what your team does. So you need to be a team player as well. You can't sit in a ivory tower and say, I am the general manager marketing, or I am the CMO. You need to know the nuts and bolts of marketing, what's happening in digital marketing, what's happening on a content marketing team on a day-to-day basis. So that's about the challenge that one will face. What else? Now let me take a few questions. Okay. Interesting question. What can one person do in a lockdown kind of a scenario to upgrade one's marketing skills? So I would think that this person who has asked this question is either already in marketing or is applying for a marketing job, right? Okay. And it's my assumption that the larger masters out here who are on this call uh, are actually people who are aspiring to become uh, an MBA student and further later specializes possibly in marketing, right? But nevertheless, I would say that there are a few links that I said. Go and subscribe to few of the links and the newsletters that are there. That will keep you up to date in terms of what's happening in the B2B marketing world. There is a portal called Coursera. Okay, it's a massive open online course where you actually can go and enroll in courses. You don't have to pay a fee. You have to pay a fee only when you need to get a small certificate saying that you have completed the course. But otherwise, from a knowledge acquisition standpoint, you can go and do those courses in marketing, marketing strategy, marketing analytics, etc. That will give you a good knowledge about what it is. And people, most of you are actually thinking of doing an MBA, right? I would say stay focused on that, right? If you're convinced that marketing is what you want to do, then first go and crack the exam, crack CAT, GMAT, ZAT, whatever, get into an elite B school. And then the small little time that is there before you join the B school, figure out what are the books that are there and buy a few books. And there are so many literature and data that is already there on B2B marketing, marketing per se, and marketing principles. Go read them. Before you join your course, you will actually know what is going to come to you, and you will be able to ace from a academic standpoint. Also, you will be able to absorb whatever gyan you are getting, right? So that's about it. What about the next question?
Somebody has asked this one question. Please compare a corporate marketing job to a government job. Please
Understood.
mention lifestyle, income, scope of promotion, office politics.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, as a layman, I will tell you that corporate marketing job, I mean, there is a specific time when you come, there is no end time. You keep working, keep working, keep working. You will put 14 to 15 hours a day. Okay. This includes the time that you will commute. Very simple, stupid answer. Government job, you have a steady paycheck and you will get a pension when you retire, etc. No one kick you out of the job. Here, anyone will kick you if you don't perform. A very simple answer. Having said that, the reality of life is, even if you are in a government job today, thanks to Narendra Modi and the previous government, there is no free lunch anywhere. You have to work hard. You need to put in the number of hours. and you need to know your job as nobody's business. Nobody should be knowing your job better than you. If you don't know that, you're out of the game. So don't think about these things. Think about being the best in your field, okay, whatever that field is, and make sure you know head and tail about it. So that's my answer to that. Okay, don't take the easy path.
Is data analytics important for marketing?
Absolutely, absolutely. Analytics and data analytics is important for any function now and in future. Let me tell you, and please note it, right? Unless and until you know what's happening, and that's where data comes, and unless and until you build an analytic bent of mind, that is, you have huge amount of data, but you need to make sense of it, where analysis comes into play to make meaningful inferences. If you don't marry this, come up with your own inferences for making a suitable informed decision making, the decision that you will take in life or at work will be suboptimal, and for the great potential that each one of you possesses, you will not be reaching your full potential. So that's extremely important, how you look at data, how you analyze data. And MBA gives you a strong foundation in that, or you need to do your own self learning. Those things are there, but experiments will take a longer curve. But MBA in a 2 year time frame will actually give you a right path and proper direction to it, and then you build on it.
So how will automation in marketing can affect future jobs and MBAs?
Awesome question. Everyone is scared because of automation, and frankly speaking, automation was in the past very much prevalent. Even today, it is there, and it's going to be there in future. So each one of you will have to embrace that. Whether you are a marketing person or a finance person, I'm generalizing it. It applies to marketing as well, right? You need to be extremely comfortable with technology. Okay. Uh, there are many marketing tools that are being used. Gone are the days where, as a marketeer, you could just do branding, right? You go to some event, put a booth, and say, I am the best in the world, come and speak to me, talk to me, etc. So that's one element of B2B marketing, and in some cases B2C as well. So the event marketing is one bit, but life has changed thanks to Google and to many other players. So now, if you see the evolution and the future is going to be a combination of offline marketing and online marketing, where technology comes into play. You have to have one, awareness, two, hands-on experience, and three, your own view of how do you bring a unique flavor in terms of the campaign planning and execution, which you will, okay, when you get your hands-on experience into play. So you don't worry about that, but ensure that you don't run from technology, irrespective of what your background is. Whether you are a person who has done arts or commerce or BBA or BBM, each one of you can be the best of the best marketing leaders. Just have that spirit of learning new things as such, and ensure that technology is something that you don't fear but embrace it.
How can someone make a transition from core sales to B2B marketing?
Okay. Uh, First and foremost, uh, I will ask you a few questions. Think about it. You don't have to answer. Why do you want to get into marketing? Okay. First of all, right? Why do you want to leave sales? If the answer is uh, sales is so pressurizing, I have to travel a lot, I want a easy life. Marketing means I will sit and think and ideate and come up with strategies, this, that. If you're running away from something, I think that's not the right motivation to get into any function, including marketing, right? Uh, so that's one part of it. Second is how to get into marketing if you are in sales. You, if you are in sales and you want to get into marketing, you have a very big plus, because you actually know what's happening on the front end. As such, now what you need to know is that what was the cause, because you know the effect of it. So what was the cause of it is all the marketing and brand building that has happened. So it can be a very smooth transition. First, try to make sure that you are extremely good in your function such that people love you in your organization. So if you're not there, ensure that that happens. Then ask for a transition so that people will hear you. If you are not good at your current job, they will not hear you. And get a transition into the marketing thing so that you know how to sow the seed and harvest it so that the fruit in sales is finally accrued. Then you will get the transition done. Then you can learn all of this so that end to end you know how to run a business right from the seed to the final deal that is getting closed. That will lay the foundation for you to be not only a chief marketing officer later, but probably running the whole business as a CEO as well. So think about it and take the next steps in future.
Uh, so studying from an elite school needs a lot of money. How can we deal with the monetary requirement of the
Awesome
same?
question. Awesome question. This is something that I wanted to speak about, answer about it. And if 20 years back someone would have given me this insight and the answer to this question, it would have helped a lot, though it has not done much of a damage. So answer is this. Guys, get into an elite B school, all the problem is solved. There are many people who are from middle class family for whom this might be a big concern, irrespective of whether you intend to do an B school from India or abroad, right? The costs are huge if you see the absolute figure. But you have in today's world, you have people to fund you. You have people who will give you loans, right? There are scholarships available. Unfortunately, there is lack of awareness for many people. Because of lack of awareness, superb talented people who are just there, okay, about to get an entry or might have got an entry, they just let go that beautiful opportunity that will transform their life. So guys, there are people who will fund you. Okay, IMS is there to guide you as such in terms of who are the people who will give you loans, educational loans. Not even a single pie has to be paid by your parents, right? And there are scholarships in each of these elite institutes, be it in India or be it abroad. There are people who will fund you full tuition if you are the best of the best as well, depending on the case that is there. So my humble submission to all of you is, don't worry, dear. Have faith, work hard, crack the exam, life will change.
Okay, there is somebody is asking non-IIMs like NMIMS are considered good when it comes to marketing. Does it? I mean, he's asking, is NMIMS a good place for marketing? How does IIM tag helps in the long term?
Right. So let me tell you something. Elite B schools are not confined to IIMs only, right? There are elite B schools who have a different name, call it NMIMS or SP Jain or Accelerate or FMS. There are many. The complete set of elite B schools that you can apply for and which will launch you. You can Google, you will get top B schools in India, top 10, top 20, whichever you may want to, right? Okay. Uh, how does a tag of IIM help you? Uh, there is this aura that if you are from IIM, you're God or great or whatever. That's a perception that has been formed because IIMs have been there for a long time. It doesn't mean that the other B schools, the elite B schools, are not in the same league. So first of all, let me remove that confusion. So the universe is pretty vast. Having said that, in the industry, there is a bias. And when you go out for say when you're job searching, right? So many a time they say IIM, ISB, XLRI, FMS, elite tier 1 B schools. So they put into that category in which NMIMS, XLRI, etc. all of them come. So you are not going to lose out anything in a job search mode in future as well, as long as you are partnering with the top tier B school. And last but not the least, let me add, in case for whatever reason you are unable to get through in your attempt, don't lose heart. Okay, make sure your preparation is sound so that in your second attempt you actually crack. Uh, Classic example. I am an example of a failure. I failed CAT thrice and finally got into IM. Just that thanks to God and thanks to my family, I had patience, they had patience and faith in me, and finally was able to get in. So you have a 30-year span of life. Don't cannibalize it and don't hurry up to join a tier 3B school just because your mom and dad or your friend is going there. Each one of you has potential. Some people take a year to convert, some people take 2 years to convert. Make sure you believe in yourself, prepare hard, take help of IMS, and crack it and have a great life.
Okay. Are new IIMs considered to be top tier?
Uh, I am not the right person to judge any B school
Right.
or the new IIM as such. Depends on your judgment criteria. If your judgment criteria is how much pay I will get, etc., please do your analysis. Having said that, again I repeat, the tag of IIM definitely helps. Now, there are so many IIMs and so many IITs, right? Now, new and old is itself subjective. Are you talking about the 22nd IIM, or are you talking about a new IIM which was the 12th one which opened up?
I
So
believe
that's
it would
very
be
subjective.
IIMs. Yeah, I believe.
So don't worry about these questions. It is not the right time for you to think about it.
Hmm.
First, focus on your studies.
Hmm. So there's another one. Do we need extracurricular activities and records of such activities to get into these elite B schools?
The elite
Profile building, I think. Yeah.
Right. So the elite B schools basically are looking for leadership skills as such, and they judge by different ways and means.
Hmm.
Academics is one part of it. Extracurriculars is other part of it. How you present yourself during the interview, that is another part of it. So there are many things go into play before your selection happens, right? If you don't have extracurriculars, doesn't mean that you are not eligible for a grade B school. As such, there are other parts of your profile which will be extremely strong. So it doesn't kind of reduce your candidature as such. Having it makes sense, but doesn't mean that you need to let go others. Others are very much important. Highlight those extracurriculars, whatever it may be, even if you feel it is not worth it. And there are people and counselors at IMS to guide you to bring out that facet which you have done in terms of extracurriculars, which will add to your profile.
Just two more questions. One is, I think we did not cover this. Tell us what each students need to do over and above an MBA to actually ensure that they are having a differentiator of sorts amongst the crowd graduating from B school. So this is basically, our attendees are mostly taking CAT this year.
Right.
So that they're so something that can make them stand out so that they are equipped to handle this kind of economic downturn like COVID or something in the future.
Understood. Right.
Hmm.
So the thing is that maybe I'm repeating, but it's like the reason I'm repeating a few things again is the stage at which you are is a stage at which you need to focus on the most important thing, cracking the exam, right? The other things are secondary. But having said that, given that we both have had an opportunity to converse and you are asking questions which are pertinent 2 years later when you are about to, 1 or 2 years later when you are about to enter the B school or you will be in the B school. So let me answer that bit and indulge in that at that point in time as such, and don't waste your bandwidth now. What you could do is to make sure you are differentiating yourself from the crowd, from a marketing standpoint, from a knowledge based standpoint in the marketing field. Go and do courses in Coursera around marketing analytics, marketing strategy, digital marketing, right? branding, there are many courses from institutes of repute which are there, which you can actually consume. It's like doing a mini MBA or a mini elective of sorts in an MBA program as such. Do that so that your knowledge gets enhanced. Do it in the time frame when you have got an admit and you have time to actually join your school, so that by the time you join the school you actually eventually know what is going to get taught. During your course also do that bit. There are digital marketing courses free. Okay, you don't have to pay a single pie. Where Google AdWords course is there, or Google Analytics course is there, or there is a company called HubSpot, which is into marketing technology. Martech space is what they call, which has software products around CRM, customer relationship, and marketing tools as such. Go there and do the HubSpot inbound certification. So you know that one is the outbound, which was the traditional way of doing it in the offline medium, and inbound is how do you attract people, customers in a B2B context to converse with you, so that at least the thought construct and awareness is there of what principles to apply. By the time you pass out, there will be something new in the marketing world because things are changing by the day. So when that happens, you will know what to learn and what to read, etc. And again, let me repeat for the people who joined late. At the end of the webinar, I'm going to share a few links with Kalyani, since she has your email IDs, etc. She will send these links with you just so that you get acclimatized with that, what it comprises, and you will be more aware of what B2B marketing is and what it is and the jargons, etc., which is not important at the moment, but nevertheless you can familiarize with that, which will help you now and in future as well when you pass out as a prospective marketing leader from your B school.
So there's this one student. He's asking, I've got admit from TAPME this year. Should I join now,
Right.
or would you suggest to give another? Would you suggest me to give another attempt at CAT in 2020?
I am not an expert or a counselor to recommend at the moment without knowing your complete background, your current state as such. But TACME is a great institute, no doubt about it as such. Question is, what is your current state and what is your ambition, aspiration? Some people are hell-bent that I want to be in IIM and I'm ready to wait, right? And that is what I want, and I will do whatever it takes and pay the price for that. If you are in that category, my recommendation would be, since you are so close and your percentile will be also in the higher 80s and 90s as such, give it a try. But if you are not, your financial condition is not that case, then I think TAPME is also equally good. Nothing wrong in that. You can go ahead. Having said that, speak to people who are from TAPME, speak to counselors at IMS India, and they will guide you, and then you can take a suitable decision.
Arvind, write to us, and we will. Our counselors will help you out with this question. Yeah. And I'm afraid we just have one more question. We just have time for one more question.
Sure.
What is work experience necessary to get into an elite B school? We have already covered that. We can probably take another question. There's quite a few. Okay, there is. So, what are the skills that recruiters look for in a CV? And you can also take it along with how is advertising related to marketing and how does one pursue it? So this person wants to get into advertising.
Okay, which question do you want me to take, Kalyani? I will leave it to you.
Yeah, so skills that recruiters look for in a CV, maybe, yeah, skills that recruiters look for in a CV.
Understood, right. So I will break it in this bit into two parts. One is a person who is a fresher as far as marketing is concerned, who is passing out from a B school. Okay, that's one scenario. Okay, the other one is a person who was in marketing got into B school to enhance his or her skills, majored in marketing, realizing that that's the place where I want to be, and passing out, right? So, two facets to that. Uh, my recommendation for the first category would be that take as many courses in marketing, as many electives in marketing as you can, so that you have a well-rounded view of what all a marketing role will entitle and offer. To get great grades in all these electives, so that your foundation extremely strong, and in a interview kind of a scenario or a CV kind of a scenario, you stand out, right? uh, for the other category, I would say that you need to know head and tail about what you have done in the past in a marketing role, the challenges you faced, and what is the immense value that you brought to the organization. Did you drive revenue? Did you save cost? Did you run a campaign that no one has run, resulting in huge number of leads? Quantify it as much as you can, qualify it as much as you can, bring it out in your CV as such, and also for both the categories, bring out the different certifications, if at all, of Refute that you have done, which shows that the newest technologies that are there in vogue, be it marketing tools or marketing automation tools or analytical tools that marketeers use, or the CRM tools, etc., you have those certifications which basically differentiates you from another person who just has read, but you are a person who has been also well read, as well as has a qualification from a third party which doesn't have a bias like a Google or a HubSpot. And you can say that yes, I know what works and what it doesn't, and in the industry what is being used, so that people will accordingly rank you a notch higher, and you will be able to kind of get that break.
Mhm. Okay, just one last question before we sign out. This is a very good question, actually. Marketing and consulting is different. How have you combined the two? Marketing, no, not just, yeah. So somebody is, yeah, this question is basically, how have you combined the two, as in your marketing consultant, as a marketing consultant, as well as a strategist? How did you combine these two together in your career?
Right. See, frankly speaking, let's all forget the jargons and keep life very simple. That's my recommendation, right? Uh, See, strategy and consulting at a very, very layman's level. Strategy is thinking part of it. Consulting would be advising somebody basis the thought construct that you have, and intense research and analysis that you have done basis what you infer, and then recommending someone about a suitable next course of action. That is consulting. You can do consulting in finance, you can do consulting in HR, you can do consulting in marketing, you can do consulting in anything, right? uh, so that's one thing. And frankly speaking, nothing works in silos, okay, in life and in also in the industry as well. Each one of you, even if your designation is whatever, marketing or a consultant or independent marketing consultant, leave the jargons. End of the day, to achieve the end goal and add value into the other person's life, or your company or your stakeholders, your supervisor, peer, or team, you have to have a strategy, you have to have a plan, you need to consult people to gain knowledge, and you need to impart the knowledge in a consulting kind of a scenario where others are consulting you for that gyan. So don't worry about these jargons. Each one of you is going to play all these roles on a day-to-day basis, where you think, strategize, plan, execute, consult, and provide consulting services or solutions to your clients, customers, peers, and team members. under the ambit of an organization or as an independent consultant who wants to consult n number of organizations to share whatever he has learned and help each one of them.
Correct. Yeah.
And while we might have exhausted the time limit, I from my end just want to take a minute or two, my personal thing, to speak to the audience. Uh, first, first and foremost, again, I want to thank each one of you for having been a lovely audience, asking so many questions. As such, my humble submission at this moment is there may be lot of worries that you have thanks to the COVID situation, the recession, seniors of yours who might have lost the job, who had jobs but lost the job, who are from elite B schools but not getting a job, or getting a job but then the company is saying no. These are tough times, right? I agree with that, but let these tough times don't dissuade you from the journey that you have embarked. This has happened in the past, this will happen in future as well, right? This happened in 2008, this happened in 2001, maybe when most of you or few of you were born or just kind of in
Yeah.
your LKGs and all, where September level happened. So this is a cyclical thing,
Correct.
this will pass away. Stay on course, study hard, get into the best B schools, get all the guidance from IMS, crack it, have faith in yourself, and this will be over and you will be on the path to success. Okay?
Yeah.
My best
So,
wishes.
so the thing is, there is, yeah, somebody has asked, could you please keep sessions for HR related job roles as well in the future? Yes, Dia, we will be having HR special as well. We will be having, in fact, once we finish with marketing, then we'll get into finance, then HR, operations. We'll be tackling all these areas one at a time. So I'm afraid we just have this much time now. Before we wrap up, I would like to thank all of you attendees for wonderful questions and our speaker, Mr. Ramesh Rao. Thank you very much. This is Kalyani Majumdar from IMS Future You. Wishing you a great weekend. Stay home and stay safe. Good day and thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kalyan. Thanks, everyone.